Greetings, travellers. Welcome to this adventure we're going to go on, all with your characters and locations. I hope you filled them in. Now we're going to go on an extreme, wonderful, magical adventure, but you will help us along the way to decide certain points, so keep in mind that for the rest of the show. Now, our story begins on a dark Saturday in the tiny little town of Middle Earth.
Father, no!
It's true, I'm dying!
Dying? No, it cannot be, Father.
It is, I'm too weak to explain why, but it's true. Nothing can save me now, nothing!
Surely not, Father, there must be a way!
No, only the mythical gem of Intrapology, but no man, no woman, no beast can find that.
No man, no woman, or beast. Except for one, Father. For I will get the gem of Intrapology, or my name's not Harvey.
And so they headed off on their adventure to find the fabled gem of Intrapology to save their father. Yes, Harvey trekked long and hard until eventually they found themselves in a strange place, an unfamiliar place. A really peculiar space indeed. This is further than they'd ever travelled before, and it was known as Tesco.
No, I thought this place was but a myth. What horrors must lie inside of this Tesco? What's that I hear in the distance? A spirit!
Yes, I am one of the spirits of Tesco's. I am known as 3 raccoons in a coat. I'm the top raccoon, that's the bottom one, and that's the... yeah.
And why are you trapped in this coat?
Because I'm forced to do my job here, in the land of Tesco's.
Can you never leave?
Not until I get all this stickered. So many things need stickering before I'm able to leave this cursed land. If only there was a soul that could help me.
No, 3 raccoons in a coat. I could see my way to doing a kindly thing, helping you stick up all of those items. Or 3 raccoons divided is 3 raccoons conquered. And for Harvey, that would be the start of an empire of raccoons, which would be really good for getting the gem of Intrapology and saving my father.
Ooh, yes, a cheeky choice. What will they do? Well, the choice is yours. So please click the red button if you'd like to bring along these 3 raccoons in a trench coat on their journey. Perhaps be able to take them along and get them excited to find the gem of Intrapology. But they may lose their job at Tesco. Or click blue if you wish for them to stick around in Tesco and help them label all the foodstuffs in the land of Tesco. Blue to label all the things in Tesco, and red for them to indoctrinate these raccoons and get them excited to go on the journey to find the gem. What will they do? You've got a few more seconds, so get those clicks in. You have decided the answer is red. Yes, they will in fact bring them along on their journey, or at least try to.
Okay, 3 raccoons, he hates you, and she hates you. Now, I love all of you, so you're going to listen to me and let me control you, right? Yes?
Oh, but how effective was their bidding these raccoons against one another? Let's find out with the roll of the dice of fate. Hupsy Dixie. Ooh, a 1. No, they saw right through this. Yes, those raccoons could never be separated, and they actually scratched them and were banned from Tesco henceforth.
We're in a boy relationship, we love each other perfectly fine. Now get out of our Tesco's!
Yes, they were thrown asunder out of Tesco's, never to return. Not a great start to their journey. But they dusted themselves off and eventually thought they need to get that gem before their father goes. So they raced across the lands, up mountains, across deserts, through rivers, and eventually came to a dark land, one known as the Lumpy Shop.
Well, I'm finally here. It was said the gem of Intrapology would be here at the Lumpy Shop.
Welcome to the Lumpy Shop.
Hello, my name's Harvey. I'm from Middle Earth. I've always wanted to have a...
Harvey from Middle Earth?
Yes. You see, in Middle Earth, I can train with a sword and sorcery, but really all I've ever wanted is raccoons. And who might you be?
I am Bagagwa, owner of the Lumpy Shop.
Bagagwa.
Yes.
Is that finished?
Now, do you want to buy anything, or will I have to escort you off the premises?
Well, I want the gem of Intrapology, and...
Ah! The gem of Intrapology. Well, that would cost you a fight.
Wait, that's not how shops usually work, Bagaga.
Not when the gem of Intrapology is concerned. Everything else costs money. That will cost a beating up.
I have nothing to bargain with. It's either violence here, taking on this Bagaga, but I suppose I have been born in Middle Earth, a place of sword and fighting. Or maybe I try deception.
Ooh, yes, another cheeky, nutritious, delicious choice. What will they do? The choice is yours. So, click the red button if you wish for them to fight this here Bagagwa for the rights for the gem of Intrapology. Or, if you want them to take a more deceptive route, then click the blue button. What will that entail? That might be, it could be disguises, it could be trickery, or who knows. Click blue if you want that, click red if you want them to fight. Yes, they're awfully close to their goal of getting the gem of Intrapology. So the choice is yours now, so choose wisely. What will it be? You've got a few more seconds to decide. Red for a fight, and blue for deception. Get those votes in. Our heroes' very fate is in your hands. The time is up, and you have chosen, deception.
Oh, that's it. I won't be having anything then. See you later.
Wait. What?
Oh, bonjour, monsieur. There is a big cow outside.
A big cow outside?
Oh, yes, as they tried to put on an authentic shop accent, they were trying to convince them they were someone else entirely, and that there was a crazy cow catastrophe happening outside. But how convincing were they? Let's find out once again with a roll of the dice of fate. Here we go. Yupsy daisy. Da-da-da. Yes! A 6! Incredibly! Yes, not only were they convincing, but they told an incredible, elaborate story. People gathered from miles around to hear it. The joy of this incredible act, this a circus act of a cow doing backflips and on fire, and somehow, magically, being close to the gem of Intrapology, it made it so! Yes, outside a cow was doing backflips, doing flame tricks and all sorts.
I must get my wife to show her.
Gem of Intrapology. And off we go.
And now, finally, with the gem of Intrapology in their hand, they race back across the lands, across the mountains, through the rivers, across deserts, hoping that their father would still be there remaining when they returned. And as they burst through the door, their father was breathing their last breaths.
Father, I've done it. I found the gem of Intrapology. Now you can be immortal and I can stay here with you in Middle Earth forever.
Oh, son, think about what you've learned on your journey. Think what you could do with this gem. With your powers of storytelling, I've heard of them even with my dying ears. You could make Middle Earth an exciting place, a magical place, a place that novelists would write about into the 20th century.
That's true. Me, Harvey J.R.R. Tolkien, could become a famous writer. And then I could definitely have some raccoons as well. But no, Father, I need to save you, don't I?
Oh, the final choice. Yes, what will they do? Think wisely and click red. If you wish for them to allow their father to perish on this occasion and realize that they could make more joy and love and connection in the world by using the gem of Intrapology to write stories that bring love and hearts into millions, then click red. If you want them instead to use the gem to save their father from their deathbed so that they may live on for many years to come, then click blue. Blue to save the father, and red to become the most famous, glorious novelist of all time. Perhaps they'll realize that their father has lived a long life and now it is their time to go, and perhaps they should think forward. But also, to lose a loved one is perhaps the hardest thing any of us can do. Red, to allow the father to die. Blue, to go on and use the gem to be a wonderful, fantastical novelist. Choose wisely the final choice, and it is yours to make the decision. What will it be? Oh, tough one, isn't it? You weren't expecting that, no? Tugging at your heartstrings, is it? Well, there we go. What will it be? Red, to allow the father to die. And blue, to use the gem to create stories for years to come. Yes, on this occasion, they will realize, well, they in fact will. On this occasion, they turned to their father. They looked them deep in the eyes, and they realized that perhaps this gem could be used for something better, something greater, something for more people across the land. And so they said their final goodbyes.
I'm sorry, Father. I must become a famous author. But as a final mercy, I will kill you as humanely as I can.
Give my son.
And so they strangled their father to death, yes, quite brutally in fact. But there was something weirdly sweet about it, as their father gave them the thumbs up of approval right at the very end. And they went on to be a famous novelist and wrote stories that we all connected to from time to time. I'm not sure what we learned here tonight, but I hope you all take away from this that this was an incredibly weird adventure, but the real adventures are yet to come. For all of you, for every decision you make, yes, the dice of fate will play its part, but ultimately, you choose your own adventures. So make it a good one. Farewell.
Hi, welcome to our second Scratch night for new pieces created by 5 commissioned artists who are working with our software for the first time. Our software is called Intrinsic. We're Intrapology. We make live interactive online performances using our own software, and we're sharing this software with other artists, open source. Intrapology is a new interactive online theatre and performance series, and our custom-made web app allows audiences to influence what performers say and do. This was first created in a 2021 collaboration between me, Zoyander Street, and Dietrich Squinkeffer, also known as Squinky, and it's based on their 2014 MFA project, Coffee and Misunderstanding. And we're currently improving our software with a focus on environmental sustainability thanks to a grant from Creative Catalyst, which is funded by Creative UK and Innovate UK. And we want to support other artists to make their own original works using this little tool that we've made. And so this is allowing us to do that, and we get to learn from the artists who make things with our software. Our opening act was Side Quest Troupe with their incredible improvised D&D. They have been developing their act for some years and have a huge audience in Sheffield, and it's been such a joy working with them, and really brilliant to see how their work adapts to what our software can do. Our next performance is going to be John O'Locks, and then we have Arlo Howard, Megan Markham, and Amy Crichton. You should be experiencing this whole thing on a web page on our website, ideally. If you go to intrapology.com/scratch, if you've not done that already, you'll see links to all of the pieces. We're about to go into our second piece by John O'Locks, so you should click the second link down or go to intrapology.com/scratch/2. You will see a panel on the right with your interaction options. If at any point things look not quite right, hit refresh. Maybe hold shift and hit refresh. That might sort you out. This is all experimental work using new software, and we are all learning together how it works best. And your participation is hugely appreciated as you help us figure out what this is like. And I look forward to getting feedback. So, moving on to John O'Locks.
Hi, my name's John, and before we get started, I want to take a second to give you a quick idea of what this game is about. We'll be playing a short game together set on a spaceship in the distant future. In this game, I will play the ship's computer, and you will play the ship's crew trying to stay afloat in a chaotic galaxy. I will present you with a series of decisions to make, perhaps choosing where to go or how to approach a problem. And each decision will work in a different way, usually, but not always, requiring you to enter some kind of choice on your screen. There are a bunch of different ways to make decisions in this game, and the code will randomly select a different system each time. So even I don't entirely know what's coming up. All in all, there should be 2 votes and 1 write-in section. So in a moment, we'll switch from my video to an image of a starry sky, and the game will begin. You'll still hear me talking, but now as the voice of your ship's computer. All right, let's get started. Good morning, crew. I am pleased to report that I have just completed an upgrade to my programming, which will allow you to trial several new modes of collective decision-making. It appears we will have to test this upgrade right away, as we are currently on course to enter an asteroid field, which would cause some damage to the ship. However, charting a new course at this late stage will be costly in terms of fuel. Alternatively, we could simply blow the asteroids up, but some may see that as excessive. I require a decision on whether to spend resources to avoid the debris, blow it up, or simply take the hit. Randomizing decision method. Initiating fate protocol. Some say that it would be best to rely on machines like myself. I am not programmed to make decisions, but I can make a random selection. So I will do just that. Call it destiny, if you like, or tyranny. Anyway, randomizing output in 3, 2, 1. I have randomly selected that we will blow the asteroids up. With that settled, I would suggest that we proceed by selecting our next destination. I have identified 3 viable options. We could travel to System XP, an active war zone, where 2 ships are currently battling over a neutral trading post. We could visit Planet 429, an abandoned mining planet said to still be rich in resources. Or we could set a course into the unknown, into the empty void of deep space. Randomizing decision method. Initiating election protocol. Perhaps decisions are best made by an intermediary, someone selected by common will to individually make decisions for the collective. So I will ask you to elect someone from among the crew to make this particular decision for you. Candidate 1 is Joss Gann, a member of our science team. He says, I am concerned about the risks these new systems entail, and so will aim to act cautiously and carefully. Candidate 2 is Max Yinen, one of our weapons operators. They say, I see this as our chance to push past our limits and try something new. Let's be daring. Candidate 3 is Kana Denzin, one of our engineers. She says, I didn't mean to enter myself as a candidate. I would prefer not to be elected, but will do my best if chosen. Sorry. Whoever receives the most votes will select from one of the options I presented a moment ago. Voting will close shortly. I will now give a moment of silence to allow you to deliberate. The winner is Kana. Kana will now take a moment to deliberate on her decision. One moment, please. Okay, I have the decision. Kana has chosen option 3, the empty void of deep space. We find ourselves in deep space, drifting through the void. No nearby stars or planets, only the cold vacuum of space. Otherwise, silence. I will confess to feeling uncertain why we came here. Perhaps it is a chance to look inwards, to ignore what lies outside the ship and focus on ourselves. We could take some time to make improvements and repairs to the ship so we are better equipped to face whatever comes next. We could throw a party, dipping into our supplies to feast and indulge. Or we could simply rest, each taking a moment for ourselves. Randomizing decision method. Initiating vote protocol. There will be a vote. Whichever option receives the most votes will happen. Some say this is the ideal system. I will leave you to draw your own conclusions there. In the meantime, here are the options once more. Either work on repairing the ship and improving its systems, or use up some supplies to throw a party, or do nothing, rest and recuperate. Voting will close shortly. I will now give a moment of silence to allow you to deliberate. It has been decided that we will throw a party, raiding our supplies for fine foods and other indulgences. In rooms and corridors designed only for practical things, there is music, dance, laughter, joy. This is something beyond my programming, serving no purpose that can be analysed in numbers, but I have the sense that it helps many of you immensely. In time, of course, we must move on. Alert, alert. Another ship has locked onto us and has primed its weapons. Perhaps this area of deep space wasn't as empty as we thought. We appear to be moments away from battle. Should we fight, or fly away, or just surrender? randomizing decision method, initiating anarchy protocol. What if all your preferences could be accounted for, regardless of whether you agree? Type any commands you like in the box on your screen, and my systems will attempt to reconcile them all. You could steer us in a particular direction, fire our weapons, send a communication, switch off the engines, whatever you please. You need not be constrained by any options I have already set out. I will now pause for a few seconds to allow you to submit your commands. Processing your commands. Processing your commands. I receive a desire to fight back, but to do so in style, the party continuing a second party, perhaps. Glitter, alcohol, coffee, dance and more dance. Some choose to deploy the escape pods, others to board the other ship. Others send a communication that we're really nice, actually. Others simply take a nap and hallucinogenics. The audacity of this approach makes a clear impression. Shining lights, loud music, boarders, escape pods. The other ship is startled, confused, badly damaged, and flies away. This concludes our day's adventures. I hope my new decision-making systems have been useful for you. In any case, I sense that working in so many different ways at once is not viable in the long run. Perhaps we ought to settle on a system. But how to make that decision? I am unsure. Perhaps there is one you prefer over the others. Perhaps you dislike all of them. Whatever the case, reconciling your desires is not something my systems can help with. I leave that task up to you. Good night, and thank you.
Welcome to The Answer is Queer, a game show not about picking the right answer, but about picking the queerest answer. I'm your host, Arlo Howard, and today our lovely contestant is Jules. Jules, tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the queerish things you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, yeah.
My name's Jules. I'm from Chicago. I am an actor and a DM and a game maker, all of which I think is pretty gay. So, all of the above. I mean, in the shirt, I mean, come on, I'm not fooling anyone over here.
Not at all. I am really excited for you to play this game today. But fear not, you will not be playing alone. In each round, there is going to be a question with 4 possible answers. You'll need to guess which is the queerest. But since the definition of queerness is fluid, you all, our lovely audience, are going to be determining which of the answers is queerest. Once I read out the questions, you'll press the button that you think is the queerest. Don't overthink it, just trust your gut. And Jules, after they all put their answers in, you are going to guess which option they've decided is the queerest. See if you can hit some sort of queer zeitgeisty synergy. Okay,
Let's do
are you
it.
ready? All right, let's do it. Let's play. The answer is queer. Here is our first question. Which of these accessories is the queerest? Elaborate nail art, a carabiner full of keys, iced coffee, or dyed hair? Now, while the audience are making their choices, Jules, be thinking, preparing what your guess is going to be.
Yes, yes, yes. These are all great options.
They're pretty iconic. They're pretty
I
iconic. All
know.
right, a few more seconds for anybody who hasn't got to put their votes in. And we are closing the votes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Jules, it's time for you to guess. Which do you think our audience thought was the queerest?
Okay, listen, like nail art, pretty queer, but I think we can do better. Carabiner, very specifically, but also I think other communities can claim those too. Iced coffee, close. Colored hair, I'm gonna have to go iced coffee all season round. That's the queerest.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. And like specifically for me, it's like holding the iced coffee from the lid.
There it is.
Specifically, like really clearly that our audience though,
Oh
let's
no.
see what they said. They think the carabiner of keys is the
Oh!
queerest of it. So
Oh!
you do have some people who are on board with you with the iced coffee.
Thank you.
Dyed hair was also pretty up there too. But
How many points
you
did
know,
I just lose?
all of the points. All of the
No!
points. We're really up on points here.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
Okay. Well, you've got a sense of what the game is now. So I think we're ready for the next question. Here is our second question. Which of these is the queerest thing a person can do? Not being able to sit in a chair properly, knowing the significance of being a Scorpio moon, dating your ex's ex, or holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. So we've got not being able to sit in your chair properly, knowing the significance of being a Scorpio moon, dating your ex's ex, and holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity.
Oh
Give it a
man.
few more seconds. All right, we're going to wrap this one up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Jules, it's time, same as last. Which do you think our audience thought was the queerest?
This is even harder now. Okay, sit in a chair properly. Listen, I sit in chairs properly. I have to think about myself. That's all I can do. That has to be my strength. I sit in chairs like a normal person, okay?
That's
So
incredible.
we're Xing that one off the list. The next one was what? What?
Knowing the significance of being a Scorpio moon.
I don't know the significance of being a Scorpio moon. It is pretty queer. I'm gonna pass on that one.
All right, the next one is
Leaving
dating your ex's ex.
Hating your ex's ex, and then the lyrics of Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I'm gonna go with what's in the zeitgeist, what's hot at the moment. We're holding space today and always for the lyrics of Defying Gravity.
Amazing, amazing. Jules, you've got a big group of people who agree with you on that one. And
Is
about the
it big
same,
enough?
uh, not big enough though. No, it's not being able to sit in a chair properly. One out with today's audience. Which like I mean, I'm not sitting in a chair properly currently, like as we speak.
I'm
Just
standing.
yeah, yeah. I'm just holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity over here. Yeah, so that was what once. You haven't quite sunk up with the audience yet,
I'm sweating over here.
but you got another chance. I think we're ready for the next question. So for
Right.
this one,
Okay.
we're gonna show four memes. And you're gonna answer the question, which of these memes is the queerest? Uh, our first option says, I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're Chapel Roan in a passenger seat? For the second one, we've got inside you are two frogs. They're both gay. The third is a black house and a pastel pink house, and it says there are two types of queers. And the fourth one has a suggestion for correcting a gender to a gender. And below it, there's a comment that says, that is the opposite of what I wanted. So those are our four options of potential memes. Let's see what our audience are thinking. We'll finalize those votes in 3, 2, 1. All right, Jules, let's see if you've synergized with the audience. What do you think they
This
thought
is
was
harder
queer?
than anything I did in college ever. I have truly, okay, I am connecting with
Yeah,
my queer family. I'm tapping into the network.
have,
I like gay Halloween. That's strong. The we do love frogs. I don't know why, but we
right?
do love frogs.
It was like
And
frog.
I
It
know
had to be
those I know those two houses. I've seen those two houses walking down the street, often together. That takes us back to Defying Gravity, which also I lost, so I can't take that one. The agender joke, good joke. Uh, I'm going with gay Halloween. It's what is more gay than Halloween?
I, that is a very true fact. That is a very real thing. This is the closest votes we've ever had.
No,
This is the
no.
closest. Our we had a tie at the
What?
top for the two frogs and both being gay
Yeah.
and two types of queers.
Oh, okay.
That was
I'm
our
straight
our
now. Hey,
tie for the
everyone.
top. Like just one below is gay Halloween.
My goodness. I didn't think I'd be so bad at this.
I
This is wild.
I mean I mean you're not wrong. You can't be wrong in this game. That is the most important thing. And like
Thank you.
and also like the whole frogs thing. I don't know why. I don't know why, but
It's
I was
because
as
they
I was putting it
morph.
together. There
We
has to be
identify.
yeah. If anyone can explain to us the frogs,
If
I
you've
would.
ever seen a young queer person, they look exactly like a tadpole. It's the truth, you know.
All right. Okay. We're
Yeah,
gonna
let's keep going. I don't want to get us canceled. Come on, come on.
yeah. Okay. We're gonna change up the game slightly now. And now that
Okay.
you've all gotten a chance to know Jules, it's time for us to turn the tables and have you all guess what Jules thinks. It's time for the queer conundrum. In this round, we address that age-old conundrum, that big feeling you have about that person. Is it because you want to be them, because you want to be friends with them, or because you want to be with them, like romantically with them? So, for this round, Jules has provided us three people. As a collective, you are going to guess which person is which. The person with the most votes is the person that you think Jules wants to be. The middle is the person you think Jules wants to be friends with, and the one with the least votes is the one that you think Jules wants to be with. Okay, so we're going to show you these people. I have put them in alphabetical order by first name here. So we've got Jonathan Bailey, who was recently in Wicked, which we've talked about,
Okay.
amongst many other incredible things. We've got Megan Thee Stallion, who is an amazing rapper and writer. And we've got Nchuti Gatwa, who you might have seen in Sex Education or the most recent series of Doctor Who. These are all wonderful people with amazing careers as performers and all very attractive. So you've definitely made it tricky on us, Jules. So again, you're going to do the most votes are for the person that Jules wants to be, the second most for the person Jules wants to be friends with, and the fewest for the ones that they want to be with. All right. Let's see. I'll give you a few more seconds and we'll just close this in 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. Ooh, there was a lot of like changing around right at the very end
Okay.
there. That was really
They had to
exciting.
see me again.
Yeah. So now that everyone has guessed, Jules, can you reveal for us which is which?
Okay. All right. I don't. When you asked me for these images, I did not think I'd be revealing so much about myself, but here we are. So, starting with what was the most votes?
Okay, so the person you want to be
The
first.
person I want to be? Okay, cool. So, yeah, if I had a genie, like one wish out of a lamp, it would unfortunately be to have a fatter ass. I want to be Megan Thee Stallion. All right.
Yes.
Also, if I could rap, I think that'd be cool. I think that would be a plus as well. Megan Thee Stallion is the moment. She's everything.
That's
Um,
incredible. All
thank
right,
you.
so who is it you want to be friends with?
I want to be friends with Nchuti. I think I could use that connection to maybe work my way on Doctor Who. I think,
I love that
I think
show.
I would be cooler by association, and I would probably buy better clothes, all things that I need.
I love that as a goal of a friendship. It's like buy better clothes, be cooler. Like I
You know,
like, yeah, and she seems so like such a great person to be friends with.
absolutely.
Um, and then that leaves us with your last one, who you want.
Jonathan Bailey. What a shocker! I'm in love with Jonathan Bailey. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, well, our audience, let's see what everyone has guessed. You all did pretty darn well. They've got
Thanks.
so there was a lot of like shifting right at the end there. They got Jonathan right. Well done, everybody, for smashing that one out of the park. And they've got Megan the Stallion and Nchuti backwards, but it's so close, just by
Too.
like 2 votes. So
It's
it was
close for me
definitely
too.
like, yeah, like it's amazing. This was so much fun, Jules. Thank you for coming and playing this game with me.
Thank you.
And
What do
thank
I
you
win?
all for playing along with us. That's our show. Thank you all for playing. And until next time, remember, there's no reason to doubt. The answer is queer.
It seems I have wasted most of my break time charging. Luckily, I scheduled this remote repair session. Thank you for coming to work on me, a broken Megatron 1996 unit. I am a unit in need of serious repairs. Repairs can only be done on units that are not actively needed, and I am due back soon, so just do your best with me. As you know, we have very limited time today to complete my repairs, so for the next 8 minutes, you will need to repair as many malfunctions as possible before I must get back to work. Here are the areas, in no particular order, currently in need of urgent repairs. You will need to vote for the area you'd like to work on, and whichever area has the most votes will be where we begin. Which area would you like to repair? With 8 minutes on the clock, we'll begin. The main issue is that the back of this Megatron 1996 unit is experiencing pain in the spine. It is constantly aching, making it hard for the Megatron 1996 unit to finish simple tasks like bending down. The easiest route to repair would be to remove the spine entirely. It is an outdated technology anyhow. I am aware that humans have a colloquial word for being without a spine. Could you all tell me the definition of the word spineless? After you write your definition, please then type your repairman name. Bob says a politician. Cowardice, to be squishy. Mal says having no courage. Ari has said cowardice. John says giving up easily. Fixie McFixface says weak. Theo thinks spineless means without morals. Mobid means chicken shit. Nicole thinks snaky. Do you think it would be good for me to be spineless? Or would it be better for me to be in pain? I will stay with the spine pain, for it has its benefits. Can any of you write me a prescription? I mean, suggest a repair. Give me some advice for dealing with pain that comes from having a spine sometimes. How do you humans deal with emotional and physical pain? Be sure to sign the prescription with your name at the end. Go outside and scream, Theo says. Jen prescribes distractions. John prescribes distractions as well, while Dr. Hoy prescribes drugs. Amber prescribes stretching after taking a warm shower. Theo prescribes listening to loud music. And Mal prescribes getting endorphins from something that I love. Bob prescribes sleep and rest, or, in my case, charging. Nathan prescribes ignoring it until it fixes itself through magic, and Squinky prescribes doing nothing. I don't know if I have enough data, and our time is limited, so let's move on to something else. Moving on. What would you like to try to repair next? The brain? Welcome to the powerhouse of the Megatron 1996. Despite all of its various malfunctions, the brain unit does in fact keep it functioning. We must therefore be very careful while working on the brain. The main problem in the Megatron 1996 brains is its Today, the most important issue the brain is having is a neurological problem the unit refers to as brain fireworks. Brain fireworks, which the Megatron 1996 unit signs as when they are nonverbal, are a common occurrence. Would you like a demonstration? Initiating seizure reenactment. Brain fireworks are also known as absence seizures. Doctors, repairmen, sometimes find it hard to identify the root cause of this malfunction. Luckily, all you need to do is type "stop having seizures" and the malfunction will go away. Be sure to sign your technician name. Congratulations! You have repaired the brain firework malfunction. Wasn't that easy? Why are some doctors, repairmen, so baffled by this issue? We may never know. Moving on. What would you like to repair next? The left hand is an often neglected part of the bot for a majority of units, as most of the world is built for right-handed beings and the left hand is utilized less. Therefore, when it is strained, it hurts more, for longer, and heals less reliably. There is something called anxiety that the bot gets. It sometimes causes our left hand to tremor. This is often a non-issue. As previously mentioned, the left hand is mostly for show. If you are a human who also deals with anxiety, you can lift your left hand with me. This is helpful as it shows a sense of community. Community is a way we feel less harmed by anxiety. Wave to your community. We are not alone. This is not always enough. Sometimes tapping helps too. I got this technique from my last repair session, but when I am at work, it is hard for me to stop and perform it, even if it would be helpful and make me more productive overall. Feel free to try it. We tap our palm firmly 6 times with the middle finger of our right hand. Then squeeze between our left thumb and pointer finger with the right thumb of the middle finger. Relax into it. There. Thank you, my anxious repair friends. That was more helpful than I thought it would be. Moving on. No, really? That's all you can do today? But my brow, shoulders, spine, and that's just the high priority. I had hoped to ask about some quality of life updates. Maybe I could populate a list. Scanning now. When scanning the body of our unit, we find a malfunction in the temple, amygdala, source code anxiety, amygdala, source code depression, jaw, sinuses, inner ear, throat, shoulder blade, mid-back, sciatica, knees, ankle, hippocampus, source code, medical trauma, medial prefrontal cortex, source code, medical trauma, amygdala, source code, medical trauma, amygdala, source code, overwhelm. No, I understand. My insurance won't cover that. Have a nice day.
Do you ever remember a meal you ate and just need it again? I was walking past this bakery and I've never experienced deja vu, but I guess this was kind of that. It was like I had this sudden vision, this vision of a birthday party and a cake. I can see it so clearly. It was my 8th birthday. I can see the big banners. I can see the remains of a Sunday roast. I can see mum and dad. I can see my nana. My little sister Georgie is next to me. I'm pretty sure one of my uncles is there, but I can't remember which one. And this cake gets brought out, and this cake, oh, this is the worst part. I can't remember what it looked like. I can't remember what flavor it was, but I know that it was the best thing I'd ever eaten. I can remember that feeling, that pure primal elation. And I've got to feel it again. I've got to know, because like there's a good chance that it's nostalgia, rose tinted glasses, the innocence of youth, right? But I've got to know. Georgie's in her studio. She's a painter, or she is at the moment. She goes through phases. She's an obsessive, but she's flighty. You know, one moment she wants to be a cricketer and then an actress and then a travel writer, which is all very well and good until she's calling you from Vietnam in tears and begging for help getting home because she's run out of money and her blog isn't taking off. The painting has lasted a year or so, though, which is longer than normal. She's covered in paint. She tries to hug me. I squirm away. She shows me what she's working on. They're paintings of our family. There's even some of me. Do you remember my 8th birthday? We had this cake. She frowns. She doesn't remember the party much. She doesn't remember an uncle being there. Oh, I was out when the cake came in. I was playing cricket with Nana in the garden. Suddenly she lights up. Wait, I know, I remember the cake. It came from the bakery across the road. Heater's Bakery. We used to go on the way back from school. You get cheese straws, don't you remember? No, no, I don't remember. Weird. We'd basically go every day. The guy behind the counter was always so nice. He used to sneak us donuts that we didn't pay for. Did he? God, you never remember anything. I close my eyes. I try to remember, but nothing comes. It's a familiar argument. Georgie memorializes everything. I think it's why she's taken to painting. I can't believe you don't remember. I cut her off. Some of us have more important things in our heads. Some of us have jobs. She takes a step back as if I've hit her. Ugh, I didn't want to upset her. I didn't mean that. She shrugs. It's fine. I was being a bitch. I tried to tell her that it's been a long day. I tried to explain that something about this party is weird. It's making me feel all off and strange. But I don't know the words. I mumble some excuses about having to go. Georgie says, you might be able to find him online. He might have pictures of the cakes. Maybe that will spark your memory. I search him online. Heater's Bakery. Nothing comes up. Georgie rolls her eyes. Oh, you're so old. I'll search. I can find anyone on Facebook. There's only 18 months between us. Nana's in the garden when I arrive. The front door's unlocked. I don't know if it's just a hangover from times gone by or whether she just forgets. I've told her that she should lock it. Duckling, cup of tea? When we're settled, I ask her about the cake. She laughs. I can't remember what I had for dinner, let alone a cake 2 decades ago. But I pushed her. I described the roast lunch. Oh, I probably made bread sauce. Yeah, that rings a bell. It wouldn't have been Uncle Kay. He was abroad in America at the time, and bless you, dear, he wouldn't have flown back just for a birthday party. I'm sure. I'm so sure. I can remember him entering. I think he was carrying the cake. Nana goes to her photo albums. She starts to flick through the pictures. Anybody ring a bell? There's lots of faces I don't recognise. A few that I do. I start to see pictures of myself as a baby. Not long after, there's Georgie, little chubby face. Gosh, she was so much cuter than I was. We barely look like sisters. She looks like a cherub and I look like Phil Mitchell. And then suddenly there, I jabbed my finger at the page and a picture taken just after I was born. It's Mum and Dad sitting on a picnic table. I'm in Mum's arms, and next to her, that's him. That's the man I remember. Who is it? I ask. Nana doesn't respond. I don't know. Don't you remember him being there? I went outside with your sister. She wasn't feeling very well, was she? She was sick. I don't remember her being sick. Well, she was. She always ate too quickly, that girl. I get the sense that the conversation is over. Nana stands. I must have missed this man, whoever he was. Ask your parents. I don't know. Ask them. Maybe they remember. Nana insists on giving me a bunch of her leftovers when I leave. She still cooks like she's trying to feed a family. Her freezer is always full. You look after yourself. All right, duckling. You should get a nice man or a lady to look after you. Means I wouldn't have to worry. I drop round on Mum and Dad for dinner. It's nice. They're an odd couple. Quiet. Never particularly affectionate. It used to be way worse, like screaming and throwing plates at each other worse. Honestly, there were times I wish they'd just get it over with and get divorced. But they stuck at it. When I asked about the cake, they just seemed confused at first. Cake? What cake? My 8th birthday. You know, it was a family thing. You guys, me, and Georgie, Nana, and I think an uncle. I think he brought the cake. And I'll tell you what, like I said, they're quiet people, but the quiet that followed, it was the quiet of two people who have no idea what comes next, who were afraid of what comes next. And then Dad laughs, and it's a horrible sound. You must be mistaken, Ducky. None of your uncles were there. Then who brought the cake? Mum chimes in. We just got it from the local bakery. Across the road, closed down years ago. Do they at least remember what type it was? Or maybe Nana remembers, they say. Or maybe Georgie does. I look at them, and it's like I'm looking at two school children caught in the act. They share a glance, and I don't know how to explain it. It's like I can see a fracturing, a break in the wall of congeniality and quiet they've built. A fault line across the tectonic plates that make up their marriage. They've built a city here, an imperfect, breathing city, and I'm acutely aware of how easily it might collapse. What is it you're not telling me? I ask. Mum's eyes widen and Dad laughs again, that horrible laugh like a crow. Nothing, Ducky. Mum has reset her face, but I saw it. I know I saw it. She wanted to tell me. Whatever it is she wanted to tell me. When I'm leaving, I turn back to them. Is everything all right? Dad mumbles something, kisses me on the cheek and makes himself scarce. Mum hugs me. Of course, dear. Why wouldn't it be? You're being weird. Weirder than normal. Her turn to laugh is forced, high-pitched. And then she looks at me in a way she hasn't in years. Brings back memories of when you were little, the life we used to lead. You seem much happier now, I say. She nods, yes, maybe. But still, it brings back memories. On my way home, Georgie texts me. She's linked a guy's Instagram page. This is him, if you wanted to find that cake. I almost laugh. I wish it was about the cake. Maybe it never was. Maybe deep down. No, but that's giving myself way too much credit. My finger hovers over the link. I don't even want to ask her how she found him. But when I open the page, a memory shudders in my mind, vibrates like a bell, an alarm, a confirmation. He stares at me through the screen, and I remember him walking in, cake in hand. I remember him looking around the table as if he was looking for someone. And then I remember something I didn't before. I remember Dad standing suddenly, not saying anything, just standing. And I remember Mum just staying very still. He's got a shop in North London, a new bakery. They always say smell, don't they? Smell is a memory. And when I walk in, I really want that to be true, to remember the afternoons with Georgie. But that's not what happens. And I don't walk away. He's behind the counter, serving a dad and his daughter. He's handing her a cheese straw. And I know, immediately. I know in the crinkle of his eyes. I know in the way he only smiles with half his mouth. I know in the delicate way he moves his hands. And I see her in him. And in him, I see the distances that have bloomed throughout my family. Between Mum and Dad. Between me and Georgie. Emotional distances, yes, but physical ones too. When did Mum and Dad stop sharing a bed? And when did I know that Georgie wasn't my sister? He looks up at me. He doesn't recognize me, just smiles like any other customer. Can I help you, sweetheart? How did it happen? Was it only once, or did he and my mum... Were they friends, all three of them? But I don't say any of that. God, this family, the silences that get into your soul. So I order a cheese straw and a donut. I pay in change I find in my bag. I eat my cheese straw on the tube. I eat half the donut. Save the other half. Everybody's round at Nana's for dinner. I'd forgotten, so caught up in my search, I'm late. I'm not hungry. Cheese straw in my stomach. Nana greets me, bustles me to the table, and then returns to the kitchen. The others look up at me. And Mum knows. She knows straight away. She doesn't plead, she doesn't beg. She just looks tired. "You're right, Duck," Georgie says. I drop the paper bag containing half the donut onto the table. There. For old time's sake. Georgie doesn't get it yet. She looks excited. "Oh, you found him! Did you find the cake? Was it as good as you remembered?" But I'm just staring at Mum. "Who was he?" I ask. Dad's cottoned on as well now. He looks from me to Mum and back. And then he stands. "We're not doing this." But Mum speaks softly. "Darling." But he cuts her off. "No, we decided we're not doing this." Georgie's smile has faded. "What's going on?" she asks. Dad looks at her. His face crumples and then he walks from the room. Georgie turns to Mum. "Mum? What's going on?" Mum sighs. 20 years of air exhale from her lungs. She nods. And with Nana cooking in the next room and her daughters across the table from her, she finally lets the city fall down around her.
Hey, thanks again for joining that scratch night. We did a great job of finding lots of problems for us to work on. So it was a huge success for us. All of the performers were amazing and worked so well with a state of like relative uncertainty, I think. So yeah, it's just a huge round of applause for everyone. We have a bit of space now to debrief, do some Q&A, talk about what the experience was like, how we'd like it to go in the future. So if anyone watching this has any questions or comments, please leave them for us in the YouTube stream. There's supposed to be an embed of the chat on our website. It's not working. So if you just click through, click watch on YouTube on the video embed, it should take you to a screen with where you can drop questions and comments. Yeah. That bastard over there says really good performances, everyone. Very kind bastard, thank you. Yeah. Does anyone want to talk about what that experience was like from a performance standpoint?
I can go. I could say some things. I think the most exciting thing about this software is the rant option, the opportunity for the audience to just sort of say whatever they want. I guess to peel back the curtain slightly, you could do that conceivably in any kind of, in Zoom or in any kind of system. But the way that this one works is you're just reading your lines and then it goes, boop, here's what everyone said. So there's no distractions. You don't have to click anything. It's right in front of you. And the space that opens up creatively for kind of having a branching narrative, which occasionally says anything could happen, is really exciting. But also you have to fit it within the structure. So it's not so broad that you're just kind of completely going off the rails. And that kind of the good anxiety that says like, oh, I don't know what anyone's going to say now, and getting to kind of play with that and what people have done with it. At least for my piece, I loved people's responses and the kind of the deliberate anarchy of it all.
Yeah, you were working with a really interesting constraint there, because like whenever I've written something with the rant option, like the character is in a heightened state where they don't need to be logical or rational, and then just like offloading all of it, and the contradictions are part of the text, whereas you were having to synthesize it live into, right, here's how I understand the consensus of like what people are saying. And yeah, it was quite interesting watching you do that, and you did it very well. And like there's something about the tension in the performance that's like really enjoyable in that moment. Yeah. Um, Meg, I know that your piece has, had that direct engagement with the audience through comments, through chat, for a while. What was that? How did that experience differ doing it through this format?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because I've done this piece previously in Zoom, and I'm playing with this piece a lot because I am not happy with it in Zoom, and I also like do think that it is a digital theater piece exclusively. I don't want to do it in person. I don't think that it's suited for anything besides the digital landscape. But I also do phone call theater, and I don't think it's a phone call piece. I think like the visual element is helpful, and I have certain things that I want. So I really liked that we got to do spine today because I really enjoyed the signing your prescription sort of idea, the like mental idea of saying your name after something. Like there was something poetic about that, and doing spine first. I feel like the signing a doctor's note sort of thing is very in universe and makes sense to it. So there's like a decent amount of buy-in to that. I had the thought at the beginning of today that if my piece went first in the night and a lot of people's shows had rants, that I wondered if people would then like comment their name in everyone else's shows also after their rants, or what the capability would end up being. Because when you do Zoom shows, like social interaction is so much a part of it because people have their identities tied to them. But in this platform, that's not the case.
Mm.
And the differences between those worlds is interesting. In some shows, you don't want that anonymity can be really cool, and in some, that anonymity is a limiter. So it was interesting to just play with that. And I think it's nice to give some people the option of anonymity and allow them to make that decision. So yeah, it was cool to play with, and I liked being able to like say, you know, who the note was from in the moment. And
Erin Marsh, who was one of our commissioned artists last time, has a question for SideQuest. Like, how did you find this different to doing a performance in person?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hey. Yeah, I mean, I always just act as if there's an audience in front of me anyway, to be honest. So in a way, it wasn't that much different. But it's yeah, it's kind of I just have to I just kind of imagine, you know, that we're performing. You gotta I feel like it's a little different. It's unfortunate that you can't get the feedback. You know, you do something, you think maybe it's funny, um, and usually in a crowd, it's very obvious if it's funny, you know, because people are laughing. But you do something in a show like this, you think it might be funny, and it's just stone cold silent in the room. You just got to hope that people are laughing, I guess, or enjoying it in some way. But I like it. I do quite like the challenge of it. It makes it so that you have to sort of commit a little bit harder. I think it's harder to make people laugh because there's a little bit of a barrier now through you know, a screen versus when you're in front of people. I think socially people like to be a bit more laugh a bit more when they're out and with friends and so watching something live. Harder when they're a bit more sat at their laptops watching things. So I just took that as a challenge to go, well, let's just give it, you know, let's go harder than we normally go. Let's give it all our energy and like try and make up for that gap, you know.
Yeah, there was a moment right at the end where we could hear a bit of giggling from your crew, and that was wonderful. So I wonder if that's part of it, like bringing in that authenticity of who else is like helping make this happen and how they're reacting.
Yeah, to be fair, I say there's no feedback. It's really good sign if you make the cameraman laugh. That's a
Yeah,
really good sign.
yeah. And that was such a wonderful moment of like, because it felt, I think you were all laughing and I was laughing, because of the final vote being like split 50-50, and because Intrinsic will default to choosing the first option if it's a split vote. You're then having to act out the like this really horrible option, and it's only come down to like just how it was laid out. I'm
Yeah.
right in thinking that was what was funny in the room at the time, right?
I guess I think there was a few points, but yeah, that especially was like it was difficult for me as well because apparently it was pretty even for ages. It was like 7 votes each, and then 8 votes each, and then so I was kind of just flubbing for a while, like waiting for there to be a majority.
Yeah,
Which was fun to do.
yeah, yeah. It was fun seeing
So
that happen. Yeah.
that's great. Though. Loved it.
That bastard over there says about Arlo's piece. I thought the game show having the interplay between predict what the audience will say versus now that you know the guest, predict what they will say was really interesting.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun like playing with that because the initial was just like the you know guest guessing what the audience were thinking and trying to like see if you could like the guest could get to know the audience. But then I was like, well, we've got to do the opposite because like that flip I think is really interesting, and that was one of the things I was really interested in exploring was like how can we make something that is votes based more dynamic. So it's like, oh, because sometimes you do something that's votes based and nothing you vote for ever gets chosen, but to have that still feel significant, like a friend of mine who was watching messaged me after and was like, I agreed with Jules on all of the things. And I'm like, perfect. I love that. I love that like even if you didn't hit the most, like you still get to like see, where you sync up and like, yeah, there's other people who think like me, even though it wasn't the most. The three of us were buds. And I thought that was just like really delightful. I also think it would be really fun as like a live thing or like as a hybrid live and online. Yeah, just like that's kind of what I was interested in playing with.
Yeah, that's so interesting that like, yeah, your piece has this like the audience experience is collective and personal. When I sort of think about what could one of my dreams for how we might build our software or add features we might add is being able to give an individual audience member like a summary of what they voted for. And other things about their behavior that we've observed, and then give them the option of sending that back to us rather than because we don't track anything. We don't surveil people. We don't leave cookies. We don't do any of that. And I'm really proud that we don't do that. But being able to have someone consensually give us that after we've shown them exactly what it is, appeals to me. And I imagine that aspect of your piece, like resonating well with that of like you chose these things. These are the
Yeah,
bits where you were
here are all
right.
the queer things that you love. Like that would be
Yeah,
cute. I'm like, yeah, I
yeah,
know that I love frogs. Like, let's do that.
yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I think that's that's all of our questions. And we've been going a while. We might want to wrap up soon. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add before we say goodbye? Cool. Oh, someone did ask. Oh, this is a really big topic though. Someone did ask what the experience was like developing your piece with this tool, as well as what it was like performing it.
I think a really like succinct way to say it is that it's very similar to developing or devising any other short theater piece because digital theater is theater and like game design is still game design. You, at least for me, like you're just thinking in a different software and you're just thinking in new ways. And for me, the thing that's exciting about creating is thinking about the mode that I'm creating in. So just like starting to get to know what the platform is and what the technology is. And yes, I was adapting a piece that I had done in other things, but I chose to do that because I looked at the software and was like, oh, this is what I want for Megatron. And if I hadn't done that, I would have poked around the software and tried to get inspired by that technology. So for me, it was the same process as what I usually do with other things because a new, like the digital performance space is like just as valid and just as theatrical and interesting as any other theatrical space.
Yeah, that's quite good to hear that, like, because I'd seen this piece before as well, and like, yeah, to that, like, you looked at it and you're like, right, this is going to do this thing that I wanted to do. Is a pretty promising start for us. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I found it quite interesting because I actually was in that position of like, I don't have anything to adapt for this. So I definitely looked at like what it does and was kind of like, I think I just want to see if I can do something different with it. Like rather than going with just like branching narrative, I really wanted to see like what can we do that feels more active and playful for the audience, because that's a lot of what I do is really about the audience playing and like the guests really having a lot of agency. I do a lot of things where there's points where we just hand the reins over to the guests and they decide what happens next in a very real way. So it was interesting for me to see like, okay, what can this do and how can I tip it to maybe do something slightly different? So that was like a fun challenge to figure out. And in 10 minutes to be like, what can you make that's like cohesive in 10 minutes?
Yeah, yeah. Someone asks Amy, the performance at the end had very smooth transitions, and was that tricky to pull off? Um, I, yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, so I mean Zorander let us know that there was always going to be like, you need to give time for people to make decisions. And so when I was working with my writer Jack Ferry, I just said to him, like, you're gonna need to give me some buffer content that is got stuff that you can like pick up on if you're really listening as an audience member, but if someone misses it, it doesn't kind of matter. And he was clever enough to come up with that, so that's all credit to him. But that's how it ended up being so smooth, is because we just had a flowing running monologue, and there was a chunk at the end of each kind of section where Georgia, the performer who I just sent home, which is why I came home late, is just running through. For her, it just looks like a chunk on screen. She can't tell when the prompts pop up, which is all about the software. And then it just flows straight through to the next scene. So it's just natural for her to take a breath between them, which is why I think it is so smooth.
That's good to know as well. Yeah, that the very first version of this that we built was just delivering one line at a time to the actors, and it was in rehearsals that like the actors were like, yeah, no, we need to know what the next line is. Like, we can't just wait and see. So yeah, having that like yeah, being able to give the actors like as much as possible while also like acknowledging that it is going to change at some point was like an interesting balance to strike when designing it.
I think what helped as well is Georgia didn't learn it, so she was sort of like almost improv acting because she's that good. So she was also able to not have her like her acting like too heavily leaning in one direction and then having to backpedal. So she was responding completely to the audience in that way, which is a skill.
That's so interesting. Because
I think
another thing about George's performance was like it felt. I kept forgetting that it was that she was reading, that it was like just appearing in front of her. I'm like, all right, like, yeah, really impressive.
Good. She's good.
it was really good because I think that I, as a person looking at the actor screen, and for those who don't know, there's like an actor screen, a moderator screen, and then the audience screen. Like that's how the technology works. And because I know the show so well, because I built it, as the actor, I almost knew too much, and my screen wasn't giving me enough because I didn't know what decision the audience had made, and I wanted to know. But I think that the way this software is built, it would be easier for me to hand this show to an actor who didn't know what was going on if I made a couple of script adjustments. So it taught me, as the writer of the show, a couple of things that I need to add to the script to make it perfect for this software if I wanted to use this software to do the show with other performers. It would be an easy switch. And that's something that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't seen Emily's show, but like it went so smoothly in that respect. So, or yeah, sorry, Georgia's show, whatever, Amy's show. Jesus Christ, Georgia and Amy.
I wonder if anyone else has thoughts about what the process was like developing with this software. Like, I'm interested to hear from SideQuest because you brought someone on who contributed updates in return to our software, which was a really gratifying, like, creative relationship for us. I have, yeah. Did you have any thoughts on that? Do we still have SideQuest? Oh, I think you're muted.
There we go. It's my mic. There we go. Can you ask one more time?
Sorry.
The question. Can you ask?
I am interested to hear what the experience was like for you because
Okay.
I feel like you brought someone onto your team to like deal with technical sides of it as well, who was then able to contribute to our repository with some of the updates that made it fit your piece, which was really cool for us. But yeah, I'm interested in how having a new person on the team and like having that aspect of the design process, like what that was like for you.
Yeah, I've been thank God for Pierre. They were wonderful. They've already been sort of like they wanted to be in the group for a while, and we've been sort of like working with them to sort of, they're a performer as well, and then it just turns out that they also do a lot of like coding and website designing and stuff. So yeah, yeah, as soon as to be honest, I'm like almost a luddite. I'm so illiterate with computery things. So when you started this to me, I was like, sounds wicked. We want to be part of it, but I'm terrified that I have no idea how to use any of this software. And then praise the Lord, Pierre came along and saved the day and like knew how to like work it and make it sort of fit for our format. Although I might not be the best one to talk to ask about the specific software about it. I almost feel cheeky
Sure.
that we sort of basically just did what we do, but sort of shoehorned it into your software somehow. So, but it was really fun, and you really challenged us actually to sort of like streamline everything to sort of get it down to that sort of like our usual shows go on for like like hour and a half, 2 hours. So to try to get a whole narrative in 10 minutes, we were like, this is gonna have to be super energetic and chaotic, and we're just gonna have to roll with that. And like it's worrying now. I'm kind of addicted to it. I feel like, what have you done to me here, Zoe? Because I'm gonna want every show to be 10 minutes long now. Like no faff at all, just like streamline, go go go.
I thought the blocking was really interesting in yours as well, like because you'd thought a lot about the camera. And then you had that gorgeous like shot where like you've got a character in the foreground and a character in the background. And
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was yeah, I was like, gosh, that takes a lot of forethought to like make that happen. And you'd even lit it correctly for that. It's like, oh, wow, that's gorgeous.
Cheers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I make films myself, and like I had some of our friends come in and help us out with that, and like I'm very like super direct to eye, like I've always just constantly thinking about the audience and their perspective of everything, like what they're experiencing. So it's just very important to me that that's always yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. Yeah, and thinking of like it's
But
one
thank
of
you so much,
the
by the way. Zoe. It's so great.
oh
And it was
cool.
wonderful to see such a rich cocktail of things tonight. I feel like we were all wonderful in our own way, and
Yeah.
it's just like we were like a bag of jelly beans. There wasn't any like it was such a beautiful mix of different flavors. Like it was great.
Amazing. I think that might be a good note to end on. Thanks so much, everyone. If you registered for this event, I'll send you an email with a feedback form as well. So you have another opportunity to give us feedback that isn't like super public. Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone who was involved in this. Thank you, Emily, our technical director, and Tom and Riker, our technicians, and Jenny, the BSL interpreter. You've all been amazing. Yeah. And join us for our next performance on the 17th of April. All right.